Ross Tucker, CBS Sports Westwood One college football analyst, and you can follow him on social media at Ross Tucker NFL. He was in the booth for the Browns and the Raiders last weekend, and he'll be on the call for Iowa and Nebraska kicking off tomorrow at noon Eastern on CBS. Let's get the important question out of the way. Have you ever eaten a whole turkey?
No, I don't think so, but I think I probably could if I really wanted to. I definitely could have when I was high school, college, or the NFL. I mean, I look back on it now, and my wife still marvels. Dan, when we first were in Dallas and Chipotle, that's when Chipotle started, I used to eat 2 burritos, no problem. High school and college, I used to go to Subway and get 2 foot-long BMTs, biggest, meatiest, tastiest. I would get double meat, add bacon, and eat 2 footlongs. Like I was an eating machine for a good 10-year period of my life.
All right, that's all I wanted to talk to you about. Happy Thanksgiving there. Where do you want to start? What's your biggest question mark that will be answered this weekend in the NFL?
Ooh, that is a really, really good one. Man, I feel like the NFL did a terrific job with these standalone games the next couple days.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Packers-Lions, I'm not sure I look at them, either one of them right now, Dan, as Super Bowl contenders. You know, when I go on all these other shows, wherever, I cheat on you sometimes. I do go on other shows from time to time. They'll say, who are the legit Super Bowl contenders? And I guess right now, I kind of feel like I have a tough time picturing it being anybody other than the Rams or the Eagles in the NFC. And I say that because the Lions and Packers just haven't shown enough consistency for me to picture them winning 3 playoff games. And even the Seahawks, who I think are really good, I don't think they're going to win that division. So does that mean I think Sam Darnold's going to win 3 road playoff games? I don't. So I think right now it's the Eagles or the Rams, with the Rams pretty clearly, I think, being the best team in football. So that Lions-Packers matchup is huge for both those teams. You know, I'm curious to see if the Cowboys can keep this momentum going after the win against the Eagles, whereas the Chiefs finally won a 1-score game, and they look like a good team in that game. And then even, you know, tomorrow night, Joe Burrow out there. And then I can't believe that. I mean, out of all the games for the Black Friday game, to be 8-3 Bears, 8-3 Eagles, I don't know many people were expecting that when that first came out. So kudos, tip of the cap to the NFL schedule makers for the standalone games the next couple days.
Better for the NFL if the Cowboys win or the Chiefs win?
Ooh, I think if the Cowboys win, because the Cowboys still have some more standalone games. If they lose, they're pretty much done. You know, if they lose, they're out of it. If they win, then the following Thursday, they play the Lions on Thursday Night Football. I'll be calling that game for Westwood One. Then the Cowboys all of a sudden have a real chance and get interesting. Plus, even if the Chiefs lose, I almost think it makes them more compelling for the rest of the year as they scratch and claw to try to make the playoffs, to try to get a chance to get into the tournament. So I think it's better for the NFL if the Cowboys win.
Joe Burrow is going to play against the Ravens. They may not make the playoffs. I'm talking about the Bengals. Obviously, it's a long shot. But they're going to decide who wins the AFC North because you got the Ravens twice now. Chris Collinsworth yesterday said he would not bring back Joe Burrow. What do you think?
I don't think I would either. You know, unfortunately, Joe is injury prone. I think last year might have been the only year where he didn't get injured. It's clearly a lost season. Even in this game at Baltimore, you don't have Trey Hendrickson, you don't have T. Higgins, and I'm sure Burrow will play well enough in these games that they'll win a couple of them. And, you know, I think the fans will appreciate that he's out there playing. He wants to play. But, man, he better be 100%, Dan. He better not be even a little bit compromised because I'm going to be watching that. We all will Thursday night. You know what they're going to do. They're going to bring pressure on him, make him move around. This is the NFL, okay? if they're not sure whether or not you're 100%, they're going to test it, right? Like if I played against a guy and he had a bad arm or had his hand in the cast, I attacked that arm. Like I ran that way. I mean, like if there's a scab in the NFL, you pick it. So Joe Burrow better not have a scab because they'll attack it if he does.
Talking to Ross Tucker, the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. You can follow him on social media at Ross Tucker NFL. He'll be on the call for Iowa and Nebraska Friday at noon Eastern on CBS. Last weekend, you got to call Shador Sanders' first NFL start. Did he do enough to warrant starting against the Niners this weekend?
No question. I was impressed, Dan. I thought overall it was a very favorable evaluation. He didn't light the world on fire. They didn't need him to. He did have a tremendous throw on the run to Isaiah Bond. I just can't picture Dylan Gabriel making that play. But you know what it was, Dan? Maybe this is me as the former offensive lineman. It was the eye test. He wasn't drifting out of the back of the pocket. He was stepping up as they encouraged him to do. He was getting rid of the ball pretty quickly. He was poised. He was composed. Now, I don't know why the Raiders didn't blitz him more than they did, but he only took one sack. He got fooled on an interception. That'll happen. I think he thought the guy was buzzing to the flat. They kind of tricked him on that one. But I would say the biggest thing for me was from that second half against the Ravens to this game against the Raiders, there was clear strides. I mean, he made significant improvement in getting rid of the ball and not taking sacks and not drifting back in the pocket. I like everybody else, especially Browns fans, I want to see more. I want to see how much he improves from start one to start two.
But you know this feeling as well as anybody. When you go to the line of scrimmage, you're an offensive lineman. The difference between, I have no idea, to, this guy's got a little bit of confidence there, or he can throw the ball downfield. It just felt like he gave his team a lift because they knew that Dylan Gabriel's not making those 20-yard throws. And Shador is not afraid. He's got a better arm. And it just feels like they're a little more threatening. Now, I know when they got down to the goal line, they got into the red zone, they weren't, it wasn't Shador. They were a running football team, which is what it feels like Kevin Stefanski still wants to be.
Yeah, they went to the Wildcat, which, by the way, I feel like, and I said this during the broadcast, that's so demoralizing for the Raiders. When the other team says, we're going to tell you right now, there's no chance we're throwing the ball. Zero chance. And they still run it right down your throat. That's a little embarrassing, if you ask me. But you're right about Shador drive. I'll say this. That was the best the offensive lines played all year, I thought. And it's almost like talking with Joel Bitonio the day before the game. They knew that they needed to, rise their level of play to help Shador, to give him a chance. But did you see Myles Garrett's face when Shador threw that bomb to Bond, as, by the way, he was getting smashed by Max Crosby? He did enough, and it's almost like his reputation precedes him. They know he had a lot of flashy plays in college, that he did engender and foster, I think, some belief amongst the players, which really goes a long way. Now, that can go out of the window quick, too, but I think, if you think that your quarterback gives you a legit chance and you feel good about your quarterback, it makes a big difference. I've been on both sides of that.
If I told you in August Matthew Stafford would win the NFL MVP, you would have said what?
You're an idiot. I mean, Dan, this is how dumb I am. On the Even Money Betting podcast, all we kept saying is take the under on Stafford passing yards. Because remember, during training camp, he didn't do anything.
I know.
He had a herniated disc in his back. He got an epidural. He is having, I don't have the stats, maybe somebody can check me, stat of the day, but he's having the greatest season by a 37-year-old with a herniated disc in his back who got an epidural and never practiced one time during training camp in NFL history. I mean, he's clearly the MVP after not doing anything. He's now setting the template for all older quarterbacks. I'm going to do nothing during training camp, not practice one time. I'll show up the first week of the season and just be awesome.
Safe travels to Nebraska. I hope it's a great Thanksgiving out there for you. Is that a direct flight?
It is not a direct flight. Nope. I'll be quick pit stop in Chicago. But I love college football. I love rivalries, and I love how much this game means to the people of Iowa and Nebraska. That's what you want, right? As a broadcaster, you want to be calling big games that mean a lot to the people involved.
That'll be Friday at noon Eastern on CBS. Thank you, Ross.
Thank you, Dan.
That's the great Ross Tucker there, going to do Iowa and Nebraska.